And ironically enough, in Africa, when you look at some of the images of our ancient ancestors in Kemet, this gesture right here that represents like what some people refer to as being mummified, meaning you are still at peace in that crossroads situation. Why? Because you've been affirmed over here on this side. Your nation, your society, your guides, your imams, your priests, your priestesses, your sages, your prophets, all of those people have now helped to equip you that when your culture is being challenged now, and when you're at a crossroads situation, you can still remain peaceful. It's not all sweet all the time. It's like, hey, I got a culture, I'm feeling great. There's going to be no problems in the world. That's just not true. Sometimes it actually becomes harder because now you have a different framework than a lot of other people. You have a way to translate what's going on. Another item number B, Brother Matt, will be trials and tribulations. Write that down. And I want you to think for a moment, according to what you said, the charismatic people, the warrior people, the creative people, the hardworking people that raised their hands and said that that was their culture, this is where you start to see how true that really is. This is where you start to see if you're really, really living by that now. Because remember over here, we had said somewhere that this is where systems and laws come from. We didn't write it down. But in the face of a challenge, your culture is supposed to remind you to be increasingly lawful. Wait a minute. What did you just say, Iasia? Yeah, you said that. In a hard crossroads, trials and tribulation situation, you're supposed to become increasingly lawful in your behavior. That is not the time for you to be like, oh, I'm going to just go eat that thing that I'm not supposed to be eating. Because I'm being challenged, I'm going to go ahead and put that thing in my body that I'm not supposed to be putting in my body. No, as a matter of fact, your culture reminds you that at the crossroads, when you're going through trials and tribulations, you become increasingly, wait a minute, let's write that real big. Increasingly lawful. That's when it's supposed to happen. Because according to what you said, something before the challenge even came about, you already had something, the root here, which is the law, which is the system that you live by and adhere to keep you balanced and grounded. That's not the time where you're supposed to veer to the side. Further, Brother Matt, item number C will be a test. Write that down. And you know what they look like in your life. You know what they look like. You know what they feel like. Some people, you know, in the Western world, people make jokes about that. Well, there's a devil sitting on this shoulder, and there's an angel sitting on this shoulder, but the angel gets plucked away to the side because the crossroad and the trial and tribulation and the test was so big that you started to become unlawful. Well, according to what we're talking about right here, that's not an option, according to the laws of culture that you live by, whatever it is, and whatever it looks like, because you're becoming what? More increasingly lawful with the test. Increasingly lawful with the trial and tribulation. Increasingly lawful at the crossroads situation. Not the opposite. And lastly, Brother Matt, item number D and item number E will be just hardships and challenges. And I want to just do a quick, so a hardship and a challenge. So just real quickly, what I want you to do is just a quick 60-second exercise. I want you to think in your mind right now, all of you, about the thing in your life that is, you can choose either item A, item B, item C, item D, or item E. Meaning the crossroad, which is that place which according to what we did, excuse me, Brother Matt, was you had something to do with that in the first place. Because according to the culture having a body, 9 times out of 10, you marched your happy hips right over to the challenge in the first place. I didn't say, come on, bro, let's go enjoy this crossroads together, why don't we? Let's go and have a test together, why don't we? According to your destiny, it was already planned for it to be that way in the first place. So I want you to think about a crossroads that you're at in your life right now. A place that you're at that you're experiencing some discomfort. For some of you, it's with your family. For some of you, it's school. For some of you, it's somebody that you're just not seeing eye to eye with. I want you to think about a trial or tribulation, a test that you're going through, a hardship or a challenge, and I want you to visualize for 30 for 30 seconds yourself becoming increasingly lawful in the situation. Not the opposite. Just see it. You're at this challenge. You're at the crossroads situation. It's uncomfortable. It hurts. You hate it. You want it to be over right now, but it's not time for it to be over right now. So because it can't be over right now, just see yourself being increasingly lawful in that situation. My goodness. Thank you for doing that. I think you understand where I'm trying to go with this. There doesn't have to be a big, I don't know where my question mark was. Great, I erased it, but it was right here. It doesn't need to be abstract or vague when you own it. Culture really now is becoming something that helps you to become increasingly lawful. And I'll show you how and why as we move on. I know we're running out of room on the board, but Brother Matt, why don't you go over to that far corner, and I'm going to give you item number 4. Let's talk about the many transformations of culture. Write that down in your notes. How there's many transformations. And keeping in mind, whatever it is that you're connecting to with this time, this 2 hours that we have together, I want you, and you look so powerful taking notes, by the way. Let me just give it up for y'all real quick. Just being studious and powerful. You look so strong. I'm so proud of each and every one of you. You know? On a Saturday, trying to get your minds right. What more can you ask for of our youth? My goodness. The many transformations of culture. Let me take my sad face away. Put another one of these up here, so we can become a little brighter in our discourse. What's the heading for the next thing? Just to make sure that y'all are still with me. What's item number 1? When we started our class today, what was the first thing that we introduced? Just say it out loud as a class. Say it one more time. That was item number 1. What was item number 2? Say it again. Was that correct, Brother Matt? Yes. Item number 3 was what? Oh, I can't hear you. Say it again. Number 3 was what? Yes, indeed. Now, item number 4 is going to be called what? What did we say the name of it was? Can I show you the transformative nature of culture now? Right? And I'm not just doing this according to how you own it now. This is according to what culture is to you and how it looks and behaves in your own life. And the reason that I gave it a smiley face is because in the nature, in terms of how the Adinkra functions, it starts here and it moves outward. It can either, when it expands, it goes out this way, but it's kind